Hi everybody, welcome back to the Skookum Report. I'm messing with the new microphone I got and a new rack mount vocal processor. Let me know what y'all think. Does it sound better, worse? Am I doing something right? Let me know. This next sighting encounter, this one might be 2 parts. I'm not sure. It's pretty long, but it caught my eye because I spent almost a year in Naples, Florida. And this one is from Collier County, Florida, and that's where I lived. So, and I remember being right by Alligator Alley and the Everglades and all that, and there was just so much activity down there. This all happened in the summer of 1997, in July for the most part. And this was, again, Collier County, Florida, and a lot of people witnessed this. There was a couple tourist buses and things like that. Start with the first one. This is so cool. If any of y'all are into the skunk ape, you'll really dig this. Also, check out Stacy Brown's new, well, it's not new now, but maybe a year old or something. The Skunk Ape Lives on Amazon Prime. It's awesome. That is really good. Stacy Brown is the one, him and his father got that really killer thermal footage, and it was on Finding Bigfoot. Of the Bigfoot walking from one tree to another and swinging its arms, and its hands were huge. It was just unmistakable. And that's the one where Renee, if you're familiar with Finding Bigfoot, she just didn't know what to say. There was nothing she could say. And she was the skeptic on the show. Anyway, and I heard they're coming back around President's Day, Finding Bigfoot, the old gang. So if you all were into that show, you'll really enjoy hearing that. So this gentleman, Steve Goodbread, he's a tour guide for Pelican Tours, and on Wednesday, July 16th, 1997, around 2 p.m., Goodbread was driving a tour bus with a group of tourists along Turner Road. Goodbread arrived at an area where there was a burned-out wooden bridge across the canal on the east side of the road. Goodbread and the tourists observed a large brownish-colored creature behind some brush near the bridge. The creature continually stood upright on 2 legs, and it was approximately 7 feet tall, had hair covering its entire body except for the face, and it was rocking back and forth. I guess they do that a lot, too. I've heard that in other encounter stories, too. Behind a tree, they'll just be rocking back and forth. Goodbread advised that the creature resembled a gorilla. Goodbread indicated that the creature was shaking the bushes and appeared to be irritated by their presence. Now, the creature was approximately 70 yards away or so, and Goodbread continued to watch the creature for about 15 minutes, and he repeatedly eased the tour bus back and forward as to allow visibility for the passengers of the creature to everyone on the bus. Goodbread attempted to get one of the tourists with a telephoto lens on her camera to exit the bus and take some photographs of the creature, but no one would get off the bus, no doubt. Goodbread now feels that exiting the bus might have been a bad idea. Exiting the bus might have been a bad idea. Goodbread finally drove away, leaving the creature at this location. He later returned to the area and found a road where he could drive into the swamp. He did not locate the creature again, and he feels that the creature might have been a hoax, but states that it would be nearly impossible for any human to withstand the heat at that time of day in a suit. And I can vouch for that. It's hotter than crap down there in southern Florida. You just walk out the door from the air conditioning into the heat, and you feel like you're getting punched in the face. The humidity is just ridiculous. This is also an area that is heavily populated by alligators. So that would deter anybody from strapping up on a suit and hopping around out there in the swamp. Goodbread states that they have been observing a large number of deer and hogs moving out of the swamp because of the high water. He feels that he is in a little disbelief of what he saw, although he believes in the possible existence of the skunk ape and prefers not to associate the creature with his tours. Well, Doe Rowland is a tour guide for the Everglades Day Safari. Rowland was driving a tour bus on Friday, July 18th, 97, around 2:30 p.m. with a group of tourists along Turner Road. Roland observed a brownish-colored bipedal creature about 300 feet west of the road at the edge of the brush. Roland described the creature as being approximately 7 foot tall, long brown hair, standing upright, when walking or running, having a smooth face and resembling a gorilla. I guess he looked like he was about 7 feet tall when he was standing upright, walking or running. Roland's observation of the creature was brief before it ran off into the bush. His initial thought that this was someone in a gorilla suit playing a prank. Roland was on his return trip at the time of the sighting. A few minutes later, he returned to the same area on Turner Road with another group of tourists. He was near the area where he had first observed the creature. Roland again observed the creature on the west side of Turner Road. This time, the creature was approximately 150 feet from the road, and again the observation was brief before the creature ran into the brush again. The creature appeared to act nervous, and Roland believed that this was the same creature that he had previously observed. Roland indicates that he was still shocked and in disbelief that this could be a real creature. He finished the tour without observing the creature again. After completing the tour, Roland retrieved his camera and returned to the area on Turner Road. Now, he drove up and down Turner Road but was unable to locate the creature again. He was driving south near the area of his other sighting, preparing to give up his search, when he observed a white convertible driving north. The convertible passed him and continued northbound. Roland looked in his rearview mirror and observed the convertible stop suddenly and then drive off. In an instant, Roland observed the creature appear at the west edge of Turner Road, approximately where the convertible had stopped. Roland turned around, but the creature had again disappeared into the brush. Now, Roland was unable to locate the creature again, and the next day, on Saturday, July 19th of 97, Roland told Dave Shealy of his observations. Shealy is the owner and operator of the Florida Panther gift shop, located on Highway US 41, 1 mile west of Turner Road. I lived right off of 41. Yeah. Now, Jan Brock is a Collier County realtor who lives in the area of Okeechobee, Florida. On the morning of Monday, July 21st, 1997, she was traveling south on Burns Road sometime just prior to 7:45 a.m., en route to work. Brock traveled through this location just prior to Vince Dewar. Brock was approximately 2 miles north of US 41 when she observed a creature that she indicated was approximately 1,000 feet in front of her car, across the road. Brock first observed the creature at the west edge of the road. The creature crossed the road, heading east, and disappeared into the thick brush and trees on the east side of Burns Road. Brock described the creature as about 7 foot tall, covered with a furry coat of thick, dark brown hair and what appeared to be a patch of off-white or light-colored hair on its chest. Brock explained that she has oftentimes traveled those roads, observed the wildlife, and has seen numerous animals in the Everglades. She compared the light-colored chest patch on the creature to similar coloration that she has observed on bears that have been laying on the local limestone roads. She further explained that this creature was definitely not a bear, though, and its legs were way too long to be a bear, and that it walked upright the entire time of her observation. She recalls that she noticed that the creature looked in her direction, but she was too far away to view the physical characteristics of any facial features. She drove to the location where the creature had crossed and stopped her car, and she rolled her window down part way, but she didn't exit her vehicle. Brock looked around for the creature and for signs of any footprints, and she was unable to observe any further signs of the creature. Brock commented that she had heard of the pungent odor reportedly emitted by the Florida skunk ape, but she didn't smell anything abnormal. She drove on to work without any other sightings, and her family has owned property in this area for many years. Brock used to bring her children when they were young and before they built a house there to that area for picnics and weekend camping trips. This would have been in the late 1960s. Brock explained that her children would often claim that they saw a Bigfoot creature around their property and in the swamps. Brock advised that her family has never bothered the creatures, and she does believe that the creatures exist and she does not fear them. Now, this guy Vince Dewar, this was on July 21st, 1997. He was driving south from his home towards U.S. Highway 41 en route to work, and he observed a skunk ape cross the road approximately 600 to 800 feet in front of him. The creature was moving from east to west at a slow pace. The witness arrived at the crossing site, exited his vehicle, and took a photograph of the creature approximately 80 yards away in the swamp. The picture is of the rear and upper torso of the creature. The creature was approximately 7 feet tall, bulky, reddish brown in color, and continuously walked upright. The photo is not entirely clear. The alleged creature is circled in the center of the photo. In the future, the BFRO will be able to do enhancements of these photos. If you want to check it out, just go to the BFRO website, and you can look up this sighting there. We will update the report when the enhancements are complete, but there was no update yet. So David Shealy learned of the fire chief Vince Dewar's sighting and associated it with what Doe Rolling had told him earlier. On Thursday, July 24th, 1997, Shealy went to the area on Turner Road where the creature had been observed. Shealy is a longtime resident of the area and is familiar with the swamp. Shealy began searching the area, and he found what he believed to be hair on some brush. The brush was alongside a path. The hair was brown in color and approximately 3 inches in length. The hair was later lost. The information can be explained by the researcher. Shealy located several large tracks in the area, and she was able to take plaster casts of 2 of the tracks. The footprints are measured approximately 13.5 inches in length and about 6 inches wide at the toes, and then 3 inches in width at the heel. The researcher in this case has examined and photographed the plaster casts. Now, a couple who wanted their names to be anonymous, and they were out watching birds and some wildlife when it began to get dark. Now, this couple prepared to leave the area and turned on their headlights. They were traveling north on Turner Road when they observed a creature cross approximately 100 to 200 yards in front of them. They drove to the area of the crossing and turned their vehicle towards the west side of the road, in the direction that the creature had traveled. As they turned their car, the headlights caught an object about 30 yards from the west side of Turner Road. As the couple looked closer, they realized that it was a very dark in complexion and man-like creature that they described as being well over 7 feet tall, probably around 400 pounds, and it looked like a linebacker for a football team. The creature constantly kept its back to the vehicle and moved out of the headlights. As the couple moved the car to place the creature back in the headlights, it again moved out of the light. The couple became concerned and left the area. When the couple were asked about further details of the creature, they advised that they never saw the face and were unable to advise the hair of the body. The couple reported this information to the local wildlife naturalists and trackers. The couple refused to give their names or any contact information, advising that they did not want to be harassed. Interesting. The whole environment there where all this happened, it's dry land with swamp to the east and to the west. There's a heavy infestation of bugs and the worst infestation of mosquitoes in over 3 years at that time, back in 97. The preceding winter was extremely warm, and this was a record-setting hot summer. The surrounding swamp water was high at this time of year. The swamp water was 6 inches to 12 inches, almost a foot and deeper in some areas. The grass was about 3 feet high above the water. Sparse pine trees with intermixed thick brush and palmettos. At the west side of the Everglades swamps, there are very few human inhabitants. Approximately 35 miles east of Naples, Florida. That's where I was. The witnesses in this string of events all appear to be credible. The evidence and the environment provided every reason to believe that these were valid sightings of the skunk ape, the Bigfoot creature. There is speculation that this rash of sightings may have been more than one creature moving out of the dense swamp toward dry ground due to the extreme environment this year. Future updates will be provided in reports of any future activity, and this is the most updated one. And this area has a long history of sightings. Even the Seminole Indians in the area advise that the creatures have lived in those swamps for many, many years, and that they should be left in peace. They also advise that they are not bothered by the creatures, but fear that disturbing the creatures may result in infliction of their wrath. All research regarding these reports is being conducted by members of the BFRO and through the BFRO. There was some press releases, 2 of them, that I found interesting, and you all might want to hear these. This was July 23rd, 1997, from the news press in Fort Myers, Florida. Everglades residents report sightings of the skunk ape. Okeechobee, Florida. The splash next to the lily pads in the swamp might be a Florida soft-shell turtle sliding off the log into the water. The rustling in the bushes could be an alligator, a bear, or a snake, or something else. That's what a half a dozen tourists, swamp tour operators, and the Okeechobee fire chief said last week as they reported sightings of a large, furry, black creature. Tales of the skunk ape, also known as the swamp ape and Bigfoot, have circulated around the Big Cypress National Preserve and the Everglades for generations. Decades ago, the community staged an annual skunk ape festival, and longtime residents have numerous tales of the smelly creature they say lurks in the swamp. I don't know if it's somebody playing a game or what, said Vince Dewar, fire chief in the Everglades hamlet. He said he saw something large and hairy running across Burns Road on 2 legs Monday. I know a lot of old-timers that used to be serious about it. Dewar told the news press in Fort Myers for today's editions, I just think someone's playing games, and I just looked at it and laughed. Doe Rowland, a tour guide for Everglades Day Safari, said he was on Turner River Road Friday when some boys in his tour group started shouting that they saw a Bigfoot. About 100 yards away, a creature came out, Rowland said. It looked like Bigfoot or someone in a big gorilla suit. Rowland said that it wouldn't be wise to dress up like the gorilla and play skunk ape because the outfit would be extremely hot. That's right. The work environment filled with bugs, and the prankster could be shot. The Big Cypress National Preserve received a couple of Bigfoot reports from tourists recently, but officials didn't take them too seriously. I think somebody's playing a trick at the tourists' expense, said Ron Clark, chief of natural resources at the park. If an animal like that existed for as many years as people have been studying the swamp, it would have been found. I hardly believe something like that would go unnoticed. But longtime residents of the remote rural community say that the creature has been around for generations. I believe that there's something out there, said David Shealy, owner of the Florida Panther gift shop and Big Cypress Trail Lakes campground. And it's been around now for a long time, but it's been hidden. Shealy, who's 33, believes the mosquitoes, which are especially bad this year, are flushing the skunk ape out of the swamp and onto the roads. Shealy said he saw what he believes was the skunk ape and when he was a young boy, hunting with his brother. He also grew up listening to skunk ape stories. The Indians woke up in the middle of the night when they heard horrible noises, Shealy said, relating one tale. They saw him ripping up their camp. His eyes glowed red. Legend has it that the skunk ape smelling like a combination of rotten eggs, moldy cheese, and goat dung. It smelled that bad because it spends most of its time in the underground caves with the alligators, Sheely said. I've heard that too, that they get that smell from the being underground. What's it called? Methane gas. It's kind of like how they have to vent some of the landfills so there's no explosions, I guess. Fire Chief Doer and Pelican Tours operator Steve Goodbread, who also recently spotted a hairy creature, are almost embarrassed to discuss what they saw. It just looked like something that didn't look human. It was big and black, but it didn't look like a bear. Goodbread added he doesn't want the creature associated with his tours because he wants his tour's reputation to be about viewing nature and not something hokey. Well, aren't you just Mr. Awesome with your tour bus? Sheely isn't ashamed to talk about or believe in the skunk ape. There's no mystery left in the world anymore, he said. We've become so smart as a civilization that we tend to discount things not based on facts, and people like mysteries. Now, on July 28th in 1997, in the Miami Herald, this headline was Mysterious Ape Raising a Big Stink. A chopi, someone or something was lurking in the dark. The mysterious swamp, just a few steps away from the old gravel road in the heart of Cyprus, stands about 40 miles west of Miami. A small group of British tourists and their tour guides swear to that. They reported seeing the hulking ape-like creature lurking one afternoon last week behind a veil of Spanish moss that drips from the towering cypress trees at the swampy edges of Turner River Road. Could it be the skunk ape? That's right, the skunk ape. Florida's Bigfoot, the Sasquatch of the swamp, the abominable snowman of the subtropics, the Yeti of the glades. A distant cousin of the more famous ape men of the Northlands, the skunk ape's reported description usually closely follows those of its primitive relatives. About 7 feet tall, flat-faced, broad-shouldered, covered with long hair or furry, and of course, covered with long hair or fur, and of course, reeking of skunk. In recent weeks, several people have phoned in reports of the creature that fits that description to officials at Big Cypress National Preserve. The reports were believed to be the first since a flurry of skunk ape sightings in southeast Florida 20 years ago. Vince Dewar, chief of the Ochope Fire Control District, saw a strange creature cross Burns Road near his home last Monday morning. I was riding along when 800 feet ahead of me, a brown-looking tall thing ran across the road, Dewar said. It wasn't a bear, that's for sure, and it ran off into the woods. Dewar said he grabbed his camera and snapped away, but he thinks the creature was too far away for a good shot, and he hasn't developed any film yet. There were also reports from tour operators who travel one of the South Florida's best places to see wildlife, Turner River Road. The unpaved state highway cuts through a slough crowded with bald cypress trees laden with Spanish moss and spidery air plants. Doe Rowland, 54, a guide for Everglades Day Safari, said he was hauling 6 British tourists up Turner River Road last week when they spotted the ape man loping along the cypress trees on the west side of the road about 2 miles north of Tamiami Trail. I remember that. It was about 6 feet tall with brown long fur, Rowland said. It loped along like a big monkey or a gorilla, and then it disappeared into the woods. Old big guy gets around. Rowland said that his group was not the first to see the ape man this summer. There was a sighting from the Naples trolley tour out of Marco Island, Rowland said, and that driver was really shook up. David Sheely, 33, owner of the Florida Panther gift shop on Tamiami Trail here, has a theory about why the skunk ape has shown itself lately. The mosquitoes have been so bad this year that they probably ran the skunk ape out of the mangroves. Sheely, who claims to have seen the ape at a distance many years ago and sees its large, mushy footprints in the mud during hunting seasons. Maybe it's a conspiracy, he said. The tales go back decades in South Florida. There were rumors in the 1960s of a Bigfoot or a really large skunk ape being held by the armed services at the Everglades National Park. Wildlife biologist George Dalrymple said, "The ape escaped by ramming itself through a concrete block wall. As the story went, some investigators made plaster casts of its prints, but those casts are top secret, probably locked away in federal vaults," Dalrymple said with a sly wink. Sightings of the skunk ape were most frequent in the 1970s in the wake of the 1967 film that allegedly showed Bigfoot strolling the California woods, with a flurry of news reports of Sasquatch sightings in the Pacific Northwest, the Patterson-Gimlin film. Not coincidentally, this was also the time in the Southeast Florida when developers were working their way west into the Everglades, bringing newcomers, suburbanites, into close contact with country folks who spent their weekends hunting at hunting and fishing camps in the marshes. Back when everybody had camps out there, people would come to town with stories. A biologist said, who once worked at the Everglades Holiday Park, the airboating and fishing stop on US 27 in western Broward. He said people were seeing shadowy things, but that was usually after a couple of six-packs of bud out there in the swamp. The stories have faded as the marshes and the camps have disappeared under suburban pavement. The sightings in the unfamed swamps now being reported in southwest Florida, which is now experiencing a housing development and tourism boom of its own. Richard Greenwell, secretary of the International Society of Cryptozoology in Tucson, Arizona, a group that investigates reported sightings of animals unknown to science, expects there will be always be reports of sightings of strange creatures somewhere. We live in a world where everything is structured by technology and predictable things, Greenwell said. People like to know that in this modern humdrum world, there are still unknown places. Still places wild enough to harbor animals, still unknown to science. I don't like to think that. I know that's the case. There's plenty of forest out there that people have never even seen, never walked in, never camped at, never. It's amazing. Bigger than the state I live in, forests. To be sure, not everyone is curious. Ron Clark, leader of the Big Cypress Resource Management Team, said the preserve doesn't investigate skunk ape sightings. "I think we're safe in assuming that there are probably no previously unclassified primates roaming the Big Cypress," Clark said. We think somebody's playing a prank on our tourists." Dewar and Rowland both believe that they saw what was probably a man in a gorilla suit. Now, Dewar said, "If I thought it was real, I would have run in there, beat the thing to death, and sold it to the National Enquirer. I think it's just somebody playing games." Well, Mr. Dewar, I would love to have seen you do that. I think you would have had your ass handed back to you with more than one crack in it. That's for sure. Well, that's the encounters and stories for today. That was a long one. I hope everybody enjoyed that one. And sorry for slurring over some of my words. This reading is not always the best, but I think I get the point across, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you or anybody you knows how to sighting, shoot me an email at skookumreport@gmail.com. That's skookumreport@gmail.com, and I'll be sure to get it up on the channel for you. Not a problem at all. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, and leave a comment and say hi. Let me know how y'all are doing, or if you have anything to add to the encounter stories or just any thoughts. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time on the Skookum Report. Take care. Bye-bye.